Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we will discuss on the another type of anemia which is megaloblastic anemia. In this video, I will give you brief information on the definition, causes, the metabolism of vitamin B12 which is cyanocobalamin and B9 that is the folic acid, the clinical features, investigation and treatment of megaloblastic anemia. So let's begin our discussion with the definition of megaloblastic anemia. Megaloblastic anemia is a distinct type of anemia which is characterized by macrocytic red blood cells and erythroid precursors which shows nuclear dysmaturity. I know it is a long definition. Do not panic. I will repeat it again. It is a distinct type of anemia which is characterized by macrocytic red blood cells and erythroid precursors which shows nuclear dysmaturity. Now what are macrocytic cells? Macrocytic means, by the word macro it means large, and here macrocytic cells means the red blood cells which is larger than its normal volume, means the red blood cells size is increased. In short, its mean corpuscular volume will be high. I have already told you in the previous videos that the mean corpuscular volume of red blood cells ranges between 80 to 100 femtoliter, and in a macrocytic cell in which the RBC volume is high, the MCV value will be more. Now, what are the causes of megaloblastic anemia? Megaloblastic anemia is caused due to deficiency of B12, which is cobalamin or cyanocobalamin, and folic acid, that is B9. Folic acid is vitamin B9. Now, when it is asked in exams to write the causes, it should be written in this form or in the flow chart. Like you will describe first the heading, that is the deficiency of vitamin B12. Now, the deficiency of vitamin B12 could be because of three main causes. Either there is decreased ingestion, that is, you are taking it, the vitamin B12, which is required as the recommended dietary allowance, you are taking it in the less amount, or you are taking the vitamin B12 as per recommended dietary allowance, but its absorption is impaired. And the third is impaired utilization. It could be because of any of the three given factors. Now let's discuss each of them. The first is decreased ingestion. First, you need to know that which are the foods which are rich in vitamin B12 or your cyanocobalamin. It is mainly found in dairy products like milk, curd, red meat, eggs, and fish. So, those who are strict vegans or those who are strict vegetarians and those who consume goat's milk, because goat's milk is deficient in vitamin B12. Goat's milk is also deficient in folate, which I will describe further. So, those who are strict vegans and those who consume goat's milk and do not take these milk products or eggs or fish or meat, they are more prone to develop vitamin B12 deficiency. The next is impaired absorption. Even if you are taking it according to the recommended dietary allowance, but still, if someone develops anemia or any other vitamin B12 deficiency conditions, it can be because of impaired absorption. In further, I'll describe about the digestion and utilization of vitamin B12. But now, till now, you just remember that certain diseases like celiac disease, it is a type of syndrome. It is a type of autoimmune disorder in which there is destruction of small intestine enterocytes. And small intestine enterocytes are having receptors for intrinsic factor responsible for vitamin B12 absorption. So, if there is celiac disease, there are more chances for the impaired absorption of vitamin B12, leading to deficiency of vitamin B12. The second cause of impaired absorption could be malabsorption syndrome, certain inherited deficiency of intrinsic factor, because intrinsic factor is required for the absorption of vitamin B12, and gastrectomy. Now, here comes the point. Why does gastrectomy leads to deficiency of B12? Because in gastrectomy there is removal of stomach, and stomach wall is having certain cells known as parietal cells which secrete intrinsic factor. So if there is destruction of parietal cells, there will be no intrinsic factor, and further there will be impaired absorption of vitamin B12. So I hope these two headings are now I've explained you and you might have understood it. Coming to the third cause is its impaired utilization. For the metabolism of vitamin B12, there is requirement of certain enzymes, which I will discuss in further video. So if there is deficiency of any of the enzyme which is required for the metabolism of vitamin B12, then there could be impaired utilization of vitamin B12, leading to vitamin B12 deficiency anemia. Now, here is a short note about what is intrinsic factor. So, intrinsic factor is actually a glycoprotein which is produced by the parietal cells of stomach, which helps in absorption of vitamin B12 in ileum. Ileum is the last portion of your small intestine which is having receptors for intrinsic factor, and thus it helps